Hello, good evening, and thanks for watching Times News. I'm CHIHANA. First, the headlines. AIP beneficiaries to cough up 7,500 to access a bag of fertilizer under this year's program. Treasury releases 1.2 billion kwacha for recruitment of 140 permanent members of staff at the National Registration Bureau. And Constitutional Court grants Times Radio permission to broadcast the DPP's election case live. We have these and other stories. Please stay with us. In our first story, beneficiaries of the Affordable Input Program will this year be expected to cough up 7,500 kwacha to access a bag of fertilizer, authorities have confirmed. This is an increase from 4,495 kwacha, which farmers were contributing in the last farming season. Minister of Agriculture, Lobin Norway, has also told journalists in Lilongwe that the price for each bag of fertilizer under the program is 27,000 kwacha. Audrey Kabalamula reports.
Minister of Agriculture Lowe says the farmer contribution is equivalent to 2 bags of maize if sold at the government minimum price. The total budget for Affordable Input Program is 141.9 billion kwacha. Lowe says government will use 124.7 billion kwacha for procurement of fertilizer, 1.2 billion kwacha will be for the purchase of goats, and 12.2 billion kwacha for seed purchase. He says the number of beneficiaries has been maintained, but 44,000 civil servants who invaded the database have been scrapped off. 30,000 farming households in Chikwawa and Msanje will do livestock production, but will contribute 7,500 for each she-goat.
Let me warn those suppliers that would want to increase fertilizer prices unnecessarily. That government will not reverse these prices. It will remain at 27,000 per bag.
Briefing journalist in Lilongwe alongside the Minister of Information, Gospel Kazako, and the Minister of National Unity, Timothy Ntambo, the Agriculture Minister said successful suppliers who are not willing to sell the inputs at the pegged price are at liberty to withdraw. Vice Chairperson of Parliamentary Committee on Agriculture, Ole Muchirapondwa, said government is at liberty to buy the inputs if suppliers refuse the offer. Fertilizer Association of Malawi requested for more time to comment on the matter.
Treasury has released 1.2 billion kwacha to National Registration Bureau (NRB) to, among others, recruit 140 permanent staff to be deployed across the country. Ministry of Homeland Security believes that the development will ease some of the challenges the Bureau is facing in its quest to effectively execute its duties. Blessings Mbinganjira reports.
Chimwendo started with a tour at the Lilongwe District Registration Office, where some citizens expressed their frustrations over delayed process of the national IDs. He said government will purchase extra printing machines to ease the pressure the Bureau is facing. Briefing the media, Chimwendo disclosed that 3 million national identity cards are to expire this year, a situation that is causing congestion for renewals at the Bureau. He highlighted that beneficiaries of Affordable Input Program will be allowed to use the expired identity cards.
Those expired cards was a bigger challenge to our farmers. Most of them could not even take it because they didn't want to see themselves getting back the fertilizer. So government has moved in. The department has reconfigured its equipment to allow that the expired cards for farmers and on AIP alone should be able to be accommodated.
The Bureau is expected to recruit 140 permanent staff to be deployed across the country.
Government has pumped in 727.4 million kwacha for the rehabilitation of selected areas of Area 23 ward in Lilongwe district. Deputy Minister of Transport Nancy Chawula says the project is being funded with financing from fuel levy under the Road Fund Administration RFA. Wezi Gausi reports.
The ministry has put in much emphasis on the upgrading and maintenance of an economic and efficient road network for transportation of goods and services. Mdoko made the remarks on Thursday during the launch of the project scheduled to be completed in January 2022.
This time around we have changed our policy. We have changed from low volume sale to asphalt. In this road it will be asphalt.
Roads Authority Board Chairperson George CHIHANA says the construction of the road would be done in 2 phases.
The launch alone today is a demonstration that we are committed, and we are committed because we are under an administration which will not roll out the project until availability of resources is confirmed. So that's the commitment.
Minister of Youth and Sports and a Member of Parliament MP for the area, Ulemu Nsungama, says the commencement of the project is a relief to the residents of the area who have been longing for a better road for a long time.
I'm so excited. I'm extremely excited that finally the project has come to pass, that we can commence the construction of the road. A road that has made a lot of headlines. Today that we can witness the coming in of a contractor, being on the site, I cannot hide my joy. I'm so excited.
Recently, President Lazarus CHAKWERA also launched the construction of 6-lane road from Parliament via Kamuzu Central Hospital to ShopRite in Lilongwe.
The High Court, sitting as a constitutional court, has granted Times Radio permission to broadcast the DPP election case live. Judge Sylvester Kalembera, who is leading a panel of 5 judges hearing the case, said looking at the precedents, they have allowed Times to broadcast the case live. The court order signed by Registrar Gladys Gondwe says lawyers for both sides did not object to Times' application. The Malawi Electoral Commission MEC will conduct parliamentary by-elections in 3 constituencies and councillor by-elections by 1st November this year. The electoral body indicates that it has received clearance from the COVID-19 task force, which has lifted a ban on political rallies but with limited numbers. Matthews Kasanda has the details.
MEC Director of Communications Sangwani Mafriwa says the body is finalizing preparations, adding that the calendar for the by-elections will be released in the near future. The constituencies and the ward fell vacant following deaths of the office bearers this year. The constituencies are Nkhotakota North East, Dedza Central East and Nzimba East. MEC will also conduct by-elections in Chimwalile ward in Balaga South constituency. Mafriwa says the commission convened a tripartite meeting with the Center for Multi-Party Democracy and the Task Force on COVID-19 on August 11 to review the progress.
The advice that we have received from the task force is that looking at the trend and behavior of the COVID-19 virus, between now and October we should expect that the current wave is dying out. If there will be any change or any resurgence, could be somewhere about in November. So between now and October, it's safe for the commission and stakeholders to hold by-elections. So,
according to the COVID-19 task force co-chairperson Kumbize Kandodo Chiponda, there has been a notable decrease in the new COVID-19 cases, admissions and dates.
President Lazarus CHAKWERA will participate virtually and deliver pre-recorded speeches during the 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly. The assembly will run from September 14 to 30, in which CHAKWERA will speak on behalf of Malawians and in his capacity as the chairperson of the African Union Development Community, SADC. Matthews Kasanda has the details.
Mr. of Foreign Affairs Eston Huanka discussed this on Thursday during a press briefing in Longwe, where he indicated that CHAKWERA will participate in 8 meetings. The minister explained that there would be unquantifiable losses for not participating physically, but Malawi's position on various matters of national interest would be adequately articulated. He explained that UNGA would have given the president an opportunity to have bilateral talks.
Yes, the president will take part in all the meetings, but you will appreciate the fact that when the president is attending UNGA in person, there are side meetings that he attends to. There are bilateral meetings that he has. Now, what it means by attending virtually is that the president might not necessarily be having these side meetings.
Gaga says CHAKWERA's speeches will focus on a number of areas, not leaving out advocating for access to vaccines, energy and agriculture. Among others, the 2021 UNGA will reflect on the importance of collective action in fighting COVID-19 and recovery from COVID-19, with much emphasis on sustainable development and investment in conserving the planet.
The Malawi Defense Force, MDF, has defended its actions following the detention of 5 buses ferrying cross-border traders who allegedly underdeclared their goods. The MDF says it is within their job description. The move comes after various quarters in the country questioned MDF's decision to detain the traders, with most perceiving it as not being within their mandate. Sam Kalimira reports.
Speaking at Malawi Revenue Authority offices in Mzozo when MDF handed over the detained goods to MRA, Brigade Commander 101 Brigadier Okomatani Mambo said it is within MDF mandate to complement fellow security entities when need arises. He said it is part of their duty to hold checkpoints, and if they come across contraband or apprehend illegal immigrants or any illegal goods, they hand them over to the right security entity like police for further processes.
MDF conducting that activity as part of security entity. We always complement our sister security entities like the MRA, police, immigration and prisons. And that checkpoint there, it has been there for quite some time. As I said, it's just complementing the other security agents where there are gaps.
He expressed concern that the northern region has so many uncharted routes which are used to smuggle goods and illegal immigrants. He then downplayed concerns that some of the traders were ill-treated, saying the people were not cooperative. Speaking in a separate interview, Northern Region Flexible Anti-Smuggling Manager Rosemary Liwonde said MRA works hand in hand with Malawi Defense Force to curb smuggling of goods in the country.
The cross-borders to cooperate with the MDF just like they do with us as MRA, because we are both agents of the government. And we are only complementing each other's efforts in curbing smuggling.
MDF has a checkpoint at Chilumba and MRA has one at Chitimba.
Malawi Law Society has applied for leave of judicial review at the High Court on whether or not legal assistants, popularly known as paralegals, should be allowed to represent clients in courts. There has been a heated debate on whether the paralegals should be allowed to practice as it is being suggested by the Legal Aid Bureau. Jamison Chauluka reports.
A statement from the Malawi Law Society's Executive Committee to its members says the application for leave has been filed with notice, meaning that the application was also served to the respondents who are chairperson of the Legal Affairs Committee of the National Assembly and Legal Affairs Committee itself. It says they are not applying for an injunction to stop the Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament from conducting public hearings on the matter so that they don't curtail any public debate while seeking binding legal guidance. MLA says its hope is that the court will give the permission for the leave of judicial review and provide relevant guide to Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament in time. MLS wants the court to determine whether Parliament has correctly discharged its duties in deciding to to receive a referral from the Legal Aid Bureau and purporting to institute and conduct public hearings across the country, soliciting views on a proposal by the Legal Aid Bureau.
This is Times News, and we'll be back after this break.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
We all start differently, but we can all start with the strongest protection. Because some start early, others start late. Some from little homes, others from big ones. Some start together, or all on their own.
It doesn't matter how you start, as long as you start strong. With new Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection. Now with fluoride plus arginine for 4 times more strengthening power. So that you can give them the strongest start to their day. Colgate. Start strong, stay strong.
Mona Malawi anzanga. Nkhondo yogonjetsa COVID-19 ndi ya wina aliyense. Tili limodzi. Ine ndinasankha kulandira katemera wa COVID-19 atangoyamba kuperekedwa. Chifukwa monga na mwino, moyo wanga, umoyo wa odwala amene ndimawasamalira, abale anga, ndi dera langa, ndi zinthu zomwe ndimazika pa mtima panga kwambiri. Katemera wa COVID-19 anditeteza ine ndi ena omwe analandira katemerayo ku chiopsezo choti tingadwale mwakayakaya, kugonekedwa mchipatala, kapena kutaya moyo wathu chifukwa cha COVID-19. Kulandira katemerayo kutithandiza kuthana ndi mliri wa COVID-19 limodzi.
Ziwani zambiri za katemerayo ndi kupanga chisankho cha nzeru. Sankhani katemera, tetezani tsogolo.
Welcome back. Chief Resident Magistrate Patrick Chira of Lilongwe Registry has granted bail to former senior officers of Malawi Leaf Company, a subsidiary of Auction Holdings Limited, AHL, and a business person who are suspected to have conspired to steal over 20 billion kwacha from the company. The 4 have remained in police custody until Monday, when the court is expected to examine the sureties. Rebecca Chimjika has more in this report, read by Wezi Kausi.
During the bail application, State Prosecutor Levison Mangani told the court that the case is complex and there was need for further investigation now that the 4 have been arrested. But lawyers for the 4 objected to the state plea, saying it was not in the interest of justice.
Where the clients have been given bail, they are not going to be released immediately. The sureties will be examined on Monday. When you do applications, we make sure that we are ready with whatever requirements that application.
In his ruling, Chirwa ordered the 4 to remain in custody until Monday next week, where sureties will be examined by the court. The accused were brought to court, where the state charged them with 6 counts, which are theft, forgery, altering of official documents, neglect of official duty, conspiracy to defraud, and money laundering that happened in years between 2012 and 2017, involving 20.4 billion kwacha.
Authorities at VIPHYA Plantations have advised timber sawyers and a Reformed Timber Millers Union RTMU in Chikangawa Forest to focus on replanting and managing their concession as opposed to harvesting trees. VIPHYA Plantations Manager Custom Nyirenda says bringing back the lost Chikangawa forest requires collective efforts both from the government and stakeholders. Sam Kanimira reports.
Nyirenda was speaking during Reformed Timber Millers Union Elective General Assembly, which was held in Mzozo on Wednesday. He said the new committee should also ensure it formalizes its agreement with the government and invest more in reforestation for future harvest. In his acceptance speech, the new elected union president, Charles Nathaniel, said the members plan to plant 300 hectares in the coming tree planting season, adding their focus will be future harvest. Nathaniel said the union will work with the government to ensure that they bring back the lost vegetation of Chikangawa.
The problem that we have as Malawians is only based on harvesting. That is just getting a fruit from somewhere. But first, before we think of the fruit that we are thinking of harvesting, we should also think of replanting.
He also said the union will establish a factory in the forest that will be using raw materials already available in the forest reserve. Meanwhile, the outgoing president, Paul Ntambazale, said the government should consider supporting the new plans outlined by the new committee, saying it would help to bring back the lost Chikangawa forest.
The Reformed Timber Millers Union almost represents all the sawyers in Chikangawa. Now with the new leadership, I'm asking the government to support the new leadership so that they can work nicely and take the union to the highest level.
The other members who have been elected are Othani O'Hara as Vice President, James Maduka as Secretary, Isaac Munhali as Treasurer, and 6 other committee members. Reformed Timber Millers Union was registered in 2018 and it has 35 members.
WENELA PUMA Energy has unveiled new winners in their ongoing bi-weekly competition draws. The competition is open to all legal residents and citizens of Malawi and is expected to run until December 15th, 2021. Emikani Kachaje has the details.
The promotion requires people to top up with 5 liters of fuel or more in order to be able to join the draw. Speaking in an interview, managers of WENELA PUMA filling station, Mtuzi Enterprises, Director Petro Mtuzi, said the draws have been a success so far.
On a business respect as well, I think the main thing that we want to achieve is that everyone should know what exactly Mtuzi Enterprises as well as WENELA PUMA has to offer. Because it's not only a filling station, you know. We sell Afrex gas, for example, at the same exact price as Afrex. We also sell sanitizer, alcohol-based sanitizer, which we actually sell cheaper than our own distributor. There's lots of things here. There's money transferring services, and our goal is to get attention not only on the fuel side, because every filling station has fuel, but everything else that WENELA PUMA has to offer.
The winner from the last draw, Dave Chime, said he was happy to have been among those who won.
I was excited. It was my first time to win my poem at the filling station, more especially this WENELA filling station.
The promotion will end in December with a Mazda Demio as the grand prize.
And that's the news for now, but before we go, the headlines once again. AIP beneficiaries to cough up 7,500 kwacha to access a bag of fertilizer under this year's program. Treasury releases 1.2 billion kwacha for recruitment of 140 permanent members of staff at the National Registration Bureau. And Constitutional Court grants Times Radio permission to broadcast the DPP's election case live. Remember, you can get more on these and other stories by visiting our website www.times.mw, liking our Facebook page Times 360 Malawi, subscribing to 1895, and following us on Twitter at Times 360 Malawi. Remember to wash your hands regularly, observe social and physical distance, mask up, and get vaccinated to prevent COVID-19. Please stay safe. You've been with me, CHISOMO CHIHANA. Thank you very much for watching and have a lovely night.